I almost skipped the party. My mother's messages had become unusually cheerful that week, which usually meant she had something carefully planned. Still, it was my parents' 40th wedding anniversary. I convinced myself that family was worth showing up for, even if it rarely felt that way. The backyard was full before I arrived. Neighbors, cousins, old family friends, everyone laughed over grilled food while old photographs played across a projector screen. My younger brother moved through the crowd like the guest of honor. I was simply another chair at another table. That wasn't new. After dinner, my father tapped his glass. "I'd like everyone's attention." The conversations faded. He smiled proudly at my brother. "Your mother and I have made an important decision." Several relatives leaned forward. "We're transferring our entire investment portfolio and real estate holdings to your brother." Someone gasped quietly. "It comes to about $2.5 million. Applause followed. Then my father looked directly at me. "You've never really figured life out." My mother nodded gently. "You'll have to handle your own life." The words weren't shouted. They didn't need to be. Everyone heard them. For a moment, all I noticed was the sound of ice melting inside my glass. Oddly enough, I didn't feel angry. Mostly, I felt tired. I stood. "Thank you for telling me honestly." Nothing more. I reached for my jacket. Then I heard another chair move. Slowly, carefully. My grandmother stood. She was well into her 80s. Nobody interrupted her. Not because she was loud. Because she almost never spoke unless she believed something truly mattered. She looked first at my parents, then at the rest of the family. "Now," she said quietly, "it's my turn." The backyard became completely still. She rested one hand on her cane. "I've listened for years while this family confused success with visibility." No one answered. She continued. "I've watched one grandson receive praise for every announcement." Her eyes shifted toward me. "And another receive responsibility whenever something actually needed to be done." She wasn't angry. She sounded disappointed. "I remember who drove me to chemotherapy appointments." She looked at me. "I remember who repaired my roof after the winter storm." Again, toward me. "I remember who visited your father every evening after his surgery." Another pause. Not because anyone asked. My brother lowered his eyes. My parents remained silent. Grandmother continued. "Character rarely makes exciting speeches. It usually arrives quietly." She reached into a small leather folder resting beside her chair. "I asked someone to attend tonight." A man standing near the patio stepped forward. He wore a simple gray suit. Several relatives recognized him immediately. He was her attorney. "I hoped I wouldn't need this," she said. "But I prepared anyway." He handed several sealed envelopes to different family members. Each contained copies of documents she had signed weeks earlier. Grandmother smiled gently. "Your money is yours." She looked at my parents. "You may give every dollar to whichever child you choose." She paused. "I won't interfere." My father relaxed slightly. Then she finished. "But my estate is my responsibility." She turned toward the attorney. He opened another folder. "Mrs. Meany. Harper recently established the Harper Community Trust." Several relatives exchanged confused looks. The attorney continued. "The trust will fund scholarships, emergency housing assistance, and local senior care programs." He looked at me. "She has appointed her older grandchild as its managing trustee." Silence. Not because people were shocked by money, because they understood what had actually happened. The position wasn't a reward. It was responsibility. Every financial decision would require independent oversight, annual audits, public reporting, accountability. Grandmother had chosen the person she believed could carry that responsibility, not the person with the loudest achievements. The person she trusted. She looked directly at me. "I've watched you make difficult decisions without asking who would notice. I believe you'll protect something bigger than yourself." I couldn't answer immediately. For the first time that evening, my voice wouldn't cooperate. Across the yard, my younger brother slowly stood. "I don't deserve to be compared like this." Nobody moved. He looked at me. "I never asked Mom and Dad to make that announcement. I should have said something years ago." His words weren't perfect, Neither were mine. But they were honest. We shook hands. It felt unfamiliar. Maybe because we had spent so many years living inside a competition neither of us had actually created. The party ended earlier than anyone expected. Some relatives left quietly. Others hugged grandmother before driving home. My parents didn't apologize, not that night. A few weeks later, my mother called. She asked whether we could have lunch. There were long pauses during that conversation, no dramatic confessions, no instant reconciliation. Just two people trying, awkwardly, to speak without pretending the past had never happened. Today, the Trust has funded scholarships, helped families facing temporary homelessness, and supported elderly neighbors who had nowhere else to turn. Whenever someone thanks me, I think about that evening. People assume the unforgettable moment was hearing that I would receive nothing. It wasn't. The moment I remember most is watching my grandmother stand slowly, lean on her cane, and remind an entire family that inheritance measures wealth. Trust measures character, and only one of those can still be earned.